Once again, we're here at the last Thursday of a month. A little bit late, but we're still on time. It's the Man in the Mirror show, and we mean the mirror, not the mirror. The, because it's a personal journey, and that's why we use the with two E. Tonight we got a dynamite show as usual, but before we even get started, let me introduce to my left here the host, Mr. Nate Jenkins.
Front your own clap. Hey family, welcome back to Man in the Mirror, the talk show that matters. And to my left, we have the distinguished
Oh,
Amy Cakes.
and now she's distinguished.
Thank you. And how are we doing this? Because,
We're gonna switch it back to that guy.
all right,
Who is he?
Big Brother Boo Jones.
All right, Boo Jones.
Rodney Grimes behind the camera.
Rodney Grimes behind the camera.
Behind the camera, y'all.
Yeah, so we all here, but we doing what we need to do to make the team work like the dream work. You know, as we do, we have a host each month. So this month is this guy's turn, and he always put a dynamite show together as everyone else, but this is gonna be a real special show. So I'm gonna let him tell you what's going on and who our distinguished guest is.
All right.
Mr. Nate Jenkins.
Bringing it home. All right, family, we right back here the last Thursday of the month. Today's topic for this show, for those who've been in tune with us for like the last 4 or 5 months, we've been talking about the elements of family, the importance of the next generation, saving our youth, things of that topic, right?
Health.
We talked about parenting, the importance of health and wealth, all of it about the unit, because in this show,
That's right.
it's most important that we talk about resolutions for our culture, right? So today's show, we talking about the importance of sports in the life of children, right? Particularly African American children. So I have some esteemed guests on the show today that have life experiences, professional experiences in that realm. So we're gonna get engaged, we're gonna stay open, we're gonna be informed, and we're gonna talk about some life experiences that may help you guys out there achieve some goals and some prosperity in regards to the children in your life. Because from what I understand, it ain't about my kids only. It's about the entire village. So I'm gonna start with my right to this young lady, Miss Tiesha Womack.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm born and raised in Washington, D.C. I graduated from National Christian Academy, played at Seton Hall University.
What you play?
Basketball.
Oh, all right.
Seton Hall University.
All right.
Division One.
Yes, Big
Okay.
East.
What position?
I was a forward center. I was
So like
undersized
a-
out of position.
Like a
but
point forward.
No, I was strictly back to the basket.
Okay.
She was a
Back
beast
then.
down low.
Yeah.
That's what she's saying.
Like
I
Barkley.
did pretty well. I led the Big East in rebounds
All
last
right,
year.
all right.
Averaged a double, so you know.
Okay,
Good
player.
Put in work.
And I played a season in Pullman overseas.
All right.
So, you know, I was in the school system for a while. I currently work in a gym, so I'm still in, you know, sports and athletics. I have a nonprofit called Athlete Unbothered where I help the youth, basketball players specifically, but, you know, I'm not opposed to other sports. Just improve their mental performance, their mindset, their mental health, and because athletes are going through a lot.
Yeah.
So I think it's important.
Excellent. All right. And then to my right, we have Miss Rhiannon Daniels. Tell us about who you are, your journey, where you at right now.
My name is Rhiannon Daniels. Right now, I take on photography full time,
part-time, and I cook at a friend's cafe.
Alright.
My particular lane is plant-based.
Okay.
I am an ex-athlete. I played basketball. Once graduated from Orange Coast Christian.
Whoa.
Big school. Big
Whoa.
school. Yeah, big time. All right. Probably had a hell of a coach right there. I don't know, but I'm just saying.
It definitely was my coach my senior year.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. Yeah,
This guy. And I went to Lees McRae College to school in North Carolina in the mountains there. And from there, I transitioned to life. And basketball has provided me a lane to just grow and learn different aspects. So.
Yeah.
All right. And now, switching over to my left, this esteemed gentleman here with the tie on, looking like he running for a state office, a president or something, is Mr. Dariuos Stanton.
Stanton.
Yes, sir. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself, partner.
Well, I'm all pumped up and ready to go. All pumped up and ready to go. Pumped up. That's right. Pumped up and ready to go.
All right.
I got on my tie on my first Man in the Mirror show. But,
Come on now.
I just wanted to make sure that, anytime Nate Jenkins asks me to come and show up, I'm going to come in a tie, I'm going to come in a robe, I'm going to come in whatever I got to be in.
That's right.
To be in the place because
right.
I support people that support people.
Yeah,
That's right.
And, my goal in life is, my work is truly always really been around creating content, systems, and content systems, and the other pieces, experiences that really help people live healthy and happier lives. And that's how I met Nate. I ran Boys and Girls Clubs in D.C., Prince George's County, Montgomery County, Baltimore City. And so my whole space and life has been centered around helping young people get to the next level.
Which
And
one
so,
in DC did you run?
all of them. He's the man.
I mean, okay.
He was
Because
a
name
hard.
one of them. Name one of
my,
them.
Mississippi Avenue,
Oh,
Southeast.
Southeast, the Arc.
Yes.
Yeah, so we built
You know
that. So
LeVar Jones?
LeVar Jones.
That's below his pay grade.
No,
Okay.
I know all my
he-
people, but that name doesn't ring a bell.
That was
Okay,
the
so
guy
he was
with-
in charge of the team program there.
Okay, how long
Yeah,
ago?
maybe 10 plus years ago.
Okay.
And he's actually back. He left for maybe like right before the pandemic, and then he returned in a different capacity.
Got it.
But my sons, and my daughter at a point were members of the Boys and Girls Club.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're literally like all of them, including Camp Brown, which is way down in Southern Maryland.
Yeah, I remember Cam Brown.
But I'm excited about being here. Sports is super important, so I'm excited about talking about that. My first basketball experience, I was a sixth man on a six-man team. My uncle was the coach, and I was riding the bench. But I ended up being the only one that played ball at high school and in junior college. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it just teaches you how to be humble.
Yeah.
And I'm coachable, which allowed me to be coachable in all the roles that I'm in, no matter what role I'm in, whether it's lead, back, support, I'm coachable.
Yeah.
And a lot of that came from sports, so I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Excellent.
All right.
Now we're also expecting another guest to call in right around 7:30 or so. Miss Janaemusic, who happens to be a national recording artist, but she started off in sports as well. So she's planning to call in. Then we're gonna open the phone lines up to the family, the village, to give us a call. We're gonna start that probably around 7:45, 8 o'clock. So we're gonna go back around and we're gonna go right back to Miss Womack. And we're gonna say, I know you working in the field right now. Tell us a little bit about sports and those children and how it affects their lives. Well, first of all, let's talk about how did it affect your life? When were you introduced to it? Who introduced you to it? And what do you think it did for you for your life's path?
So of course my dad introduced me to it. He was
My man. Talk about it for a minute.
So he was my coach early on. There's 7 of us, so my parents had all of us in everything, but basketball stuck with me. I was his, basketball child. He was, like I said, he was my coach, and he would sit out of tryouts, and he would take the kids that got cut, and build a team around the kids that got cut.
Wow.
From, teams.
Yeah.
And
I like him.
so that's
Great
what
guy.
he did.
Wow, what a guy.
When
Never
I
heard that story before.
when I was coming up, I had a next door neighbor who, and this was my first experience with, mental health. He was always around, was very hands-on in my basketball upbringing. I like to say when my dad was like the devil on my shoulder. As my coach, he was a great coach, but he was still my dad. Still really hard on me. He was like the angel on my shoulder. But he suffered from manic depression and he committed suicide. So that was my first experience. Like,
Is this your dad now?
No, this was my neighbor.
Okay.
Who was always
so
around.
Head clear, yeah.
Yes. So I was often confused because I'm like, he was the happiest man I knew. Like, always smiling, always helping us, and was suffering. So that was my first experience with mental health. Even as an athlete, I grew up at number 10. We dogged everybody in the city.
What year was that?
Number 10.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, walk down the
Hold on. For the viewers, because we got viewers that's not from DC.
Yeah, tell them about what number 10 means.
Tell them 10, what area, and
God, honestly, I know it by number 10. I know them by numbers.
Okay, but I'm saying
where were they
area?
located?
Where were they located?
It was uptown. I want to
In
say
Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, in
Okay.
DC. I want to
So,
say
Northwest?
Northwest. By
Where? Was that
what's the high
Midtown?
school over there?
Was that Midtown?
No, that's
Roosevelt?
Roosevelt.
No, it's
No,
Cardozo.
Cardozo.
Yeah.
Cardozo.
Like
That's
right in
Midtown.
that, right in that
That's
neighborhood.
Midtown.
That's
Yeah,
Midtown.
number
That's
10.
It was on 14th Street.
Yeah, 14th
I'm
Street.
gonna
Right
tell you who they are.
Yeah.
That's Kingsman.
No, not King.
No.
That she talking about number 10.
Number
That's 14th and
And
Clifton.
Clifton.
It was
14th and Clifton.
That's where Kingsman was at.
No, Kingsman on the other side.
Okay.
But yeah,
North
14th
East.
and
Yeah.
Clifton.
14th and
So
Clifton.
that's where I grew up playing.
Right there, I know
Number
who-
10.
Legend.
So,
But wait a minute. Go ahead, tell your story, because I know where you got great at, but go ahead and talk about it.
who did I get great?
But she said she
Oh,
talking about
you
a
Holy
humble
Comfort.
Comfort.
That's where you got great
beginning.
at.
She
Go
talking about a
ahead.
humble
We
beginning.
got
Now,
stories
go
of
ahead.
Holy
You can't let
Comfort.
it go. We gotta let it go.
Let it
Oh,
go.
we
Go
got
ahead.
stories of Holy Comforter. But I suffered mentally as far as nervousness, anxiety, confidence issues, and didn't really know what it was called until I got my master's in sports psychology and actually started studying it. So to my father, he'll tell me something and it's coming out as anxiety, but it's coming out as I got an attitude. So I'm this 14-year-old girl with an attitude, but that was how I kind of processed my anxiety. So that's a little snippet of my story or my youth.
So
But
keep going. You stopped at number 10. You shorted it. Keep going. Talk about what I want to hear now.
What you want to hear?
I want to hear about that CYA undefeated for 3-5 years.
So with Holy Comforter, we were undefeated, and they got so mad. I think it was the championship game where I didn't belong to the church, and it might not have only been me.
Yeah, it was a couple of y'all.
Yeah, it was a couple of us
That's
that didn't
ringers.
belong to the church. And we made it all the way to the championship game. And of course, they was hating. They didn't want us to win. So they went through like the higher ups. It was like, they can't play. They don't even belong to the church just to get us out of there. We
Y'all was
swept through
undefeated.
everybody.
Y'all swept through everything like my Lakers got swept?
Yeah, man. Worse than that.
Hey, look,
Yes,
Nate knows this, but he didn't. I don't think he put the two together. For 11 years, I worked for a treatment program in Washington D.C. that's governed by
Holy
Comfort.
Comfort.
Really?
Yeah. We're going to get around that, because I actually helped start that treatment
Oh,
at Holy Comforter with Mr. Howard
those were
Gordon.
some good days.
You dig what I'm
It's
saying?
called community action.
Yeah, community action with Keg. Yeah, you know Keg. Yeah, part of, that
I
was
worked
part
there.
of my ministry.
I actually turned the lights out on the last day and locked up the place on the last day.
But so, let's talk a little bit about what happened at, okay, you talked about what happened at CYA with Holy Comfort, right? And then you went on to your high school career at,
I started off at Carroll.
okay.
I ended up
Archbishop.
and I repped them. I still repped them real hard, like I graduated from there, but I didn't.
All this is DC.
Yes,
Washington,
DC,
See,
Washington,
so we got
DC.
people from all over the
Yes,
world
we
looking
are
at this.
still in Washington,
Yeah,
DC.
Washington, DC, y'all.
Yes. So I had a very, and you know, back then, I don't know if I'm aging myself, but back then, with junior high school, it was 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Oh, and junior high school ball was tight.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I went to Paul Junior High.
Okay.
So, still in the city. So I was,
On 8th Street.
Yeah, 8th.
7th. Yep,
Something like
7th.
that. Yeah,
Mhm.
something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
So I was
The old
kind of
time
like
is.
the older, going into high school, a little older at 10th grade, you know. But I enjoyed Carroll. Lots of great friends, lots of lessons. Then I ended up transferring to National Christian.
Because you
One
were
real
a
quick-
what?
one
because
real
of my
quick-
dad.
Because you were a star.
Oh, I was gonna say because of my dad.
One real quick note on this. Carl, Carl is the women's national champion at Penn Relay this year.
Really? All right.
Just a little Carl.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting.
No,
And we got
that's
some Penn
amazing.
Relay stories here over in Bishop
We
McNamara.
ain't gonna get ahead. We ain't get ahead.
No, that's great. But I transferred because of my dad. I didn't have any problems with the team, but you know the coaches and the parents, they
Dirty,
want,
I mean.
yeah, you know it was their issues. To this day, I don't even know. But I transferred to National Christian, which was a lot smaller. There was about 26 people in my graduating class.
Okay.
You know, like very
Yeah,
small
same.
school. But I also learned a lot there. And then I started coaching. I coached at St. John's High School, head coach for junior varsity girls. And I had, just to get back on topic, I had a lot of athletes, a lot of basketball girls come be on the team that had no intentions of playing in college. You know, they just needed something to do. They wanted to be a part of something. And I had one specific young lady who, I wouldn't say she was a problem child. She wasn't a problem child. But she just got in trouble, needed a lot of guidance. And basketball was her escape.
Yeah.
You know,
Instruction.
yes, her, her getaway.
I
She
can relate to
enjoyed
that. I
doing
can
it.
relate to that.
I remember one time she came into the office and me and my assistant coach, she told us very heartbroken that she had to leave the team. It was a lot of schoolwork and just to keep up with. We said no. We said you can't quit. Like, we're not going to let you quit.
That's
If
old
you
school.
need
That's old
to-
school, y'all. That's old school.
Yeah, we told her, I was like,
Here's
if
good
you
quit.
need to miss practice or come late to practice because you need tutoring or because you need to make up some classwork, then do that. If you need to spend the first 30 minutes of practice on the sidelines
quit.
doing your homework, then do that. But you can't quit. Like, more so because I need to keep my eye on her.
Right.
But because we knew, and I spoke to her father a lot, and I knew how much, like, they were going through it. So I was like, you can't quit. She stayed on the team. She hit big shots for us and everything.
come
So,
on.
just to get back to that, it's bigger than getting a scholarship and, playing professionally. Some athletes really do need the community, especially since we were at this point where we've put so much in the athletes that are going to get the scholarships or want to go to the next level, that we kind of neglect the athletes who just needed to
Life
stay out of
lessons.
trouble.
Life
Or
lessons.
the life lessons and need something to do. So I'm gonna start talking good.
All
Man,
right.
it's big.
All right, let's switch over to Miss Daniels, right? Tell us about your journey, where it started and all that.
Uh-oh.
So just
Come
to,
on,
just to
speak up.
get this off, this is my dad here,
Shameless plug.
He has introduced me to all the sports I've ever played in my life, and if he hasn't introduced me, he's definitely been my coach for them. So sports in my life has been a very much so constant realm. I can't imagine, I can't even think of a time that I didn't play sports. I played baseball, I played football, I played
Tackle
track.
football with equipment against the boys.
Well, it went down Lee.
We played
No,
at
she
Eastern
played
Branch,
Eastern
Boys and Girls
Branch.
Eastern Branch.
Yeah, she
Yeah, I played
played
every
pop
sport.
water, everything, man. They didn't know she was a girl. She was out there tearing them up. Coach get mad.
Well,
"Why you
they
let
got
that
something
girl
out there.
tackle
They
you?"
got something now, so
Yeah.
this is becoming normal.
But I said, now I
Yeah,
see that. I'm like,
yeah.
wow, that was so long ago.
My
You
grandson
did
got
that.
2 sisters on the scene. They hit.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Go ahead.
Softball, I played softball in Alexandria. this was my coach then too. I think that was my
The
first
first
sport.
there, yeah.
Alexandria.
Lisa.
Alexandria, Virginia,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
From there, though, basketball just became a love of mine. I played high school at Bishop McEnroe. That's where I started at. Like Tiesha said, that's something I still rep. Like I graduated from there and I did not. But it's just the same mascot, you know. So, but as he did not coach me there, but I had 2 coaches there, and you know, I can see I played JV there, and I just knew I wasn't going to be able to get in the level and on the team into where I needed to be seen by the colleges, because I know I wanted to play college basketball. I just wasn't sure if I wanted to go to like the NBA, the WNBA. So it was like, I know I want to play.
That's how you got to think. You got to think
I
like
was trying
that.
to go to the NBA.
That's right.
I knew that wasn't going to be my calling, but I love basketball enough to play in college, and so I transferred over to Montrose Christian. And
Well, we did what?
yeah, we did.
We won
did
that
some
national
things
championship
there.
from Christian schools. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Before we go on, can we put a pin in it?
Yeah.
I'm just going information. I'm from Alexandria originally, right? TC Williams only had 1 basketball undefeated team. That was back in 1977. Undefeated state champions, right? And 2 junior high school people were moved up and played on that team.
Yeah.
That's almost incredible. They got moved up to varsity, past JV, past all that to varsity because they were that good. One was her uncle,
Yeah. Mike Daniels.
Mike Daniels.
Yeah.
And
Big Mike.
The 2, and I guess it runs in the family, because I forget that the year that McNamara won there, they won it back to back, I believe. But the year we won in 2003, I believe, I was moved up from JV to varsity, and so that happened also.
They played that championship game. They put it re.
Yeah, that was a beautiful time. But yeah, so transferred to Montrose, 11 for a year. It wasn't our best coach. Great school, especially for the boys team. The girls came, I believe we came and we made some noise there. With the help of this guy right here, he was a beautiful, great coach. And so he helped us.
Yeah, give him his flowers.
Jenkins deserves his flowers. But yeah, basketball has just been a foundation in my life to show me that I don't have to be in one place, or these are just tools that help me transition from one thing. If I realize that I like to cook, I like to be in photography. I thought I was going to open a gym and be around children all my life. I'm still around children, but the gym aspect is like, I love sports, but it's more so I use these tools to just manifest other things in my life.
So let me ask you this, and this is a question for both of you guys. I know that you spoke a little bit about what happened at championship, right? It was a tragedy for our entire community because we felt like we were being robbed. These girls were like 35-0, beat every team by 20 or better. Okay, and both of these young ladies were anchors on that team.
Okay.
Right?
They played together.
Yeah, and it was everybody on that team went off to college, and a couple of them, like Miss Womack and a few others, Division I, WNBA prospects, the whole 9, right? And it was unfortunate. We got a caller.
You said unfortunate.
All right, caller, who we got on the line? That deep man in the mirror.
Hey, it's Janaemusic.
Hi, Janaemusic.
Hey, family.
Hey.
Peace and love.
Hey.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Everybody.
say that's his other daughter.
That's my other daughter, basketball player, all that. So we're going to get right to you quickly, Janae. We're going to
Pop
have
star now.
the young ladies answer a question in regards to what it did for their psyche in regards to when they got their championship snatched from them, and then what happened in the community. So I was on the church board and sports ministry, and the archdiocese came to us and said, they got stars, but y'all loaded the team with people that don't go to the church, right? CYA. But the rule book said, CYO, as long as they are members of the community
Where the church is.
where the church is, they could play. But
you know.
they knew that these girls was gonna wipe out the whole nation, so they wouldn't let them go no further than D.C. and cut them off and let somebody else represent the East Coast and all
Well,
that.
see, that's a whole
But
other
it's a
segment,
lot of
too.
politics.
Yeah.
But what they came back and did was they gave us all the trophies, and then we had the big ceremony at church where they brought the trophy in and introduced the players and all that. But I know I watched these young ladies cry, be disappointed, then turn around and be cheered for, right, and get accolades. What did that teach you as an individual, or did it teach you anything at that point in your life?
Yeah, that's it.
I'm gonna have to think about what it taught me at that point, but it was already frustrating just to be one of the stars and have to carry that, weight on your back of the team and everything, performing in front of people. And I'm also speaking personally because of my nervousness. Back there was already a lot to do it, but then for it to be taken away, it's like, we kids. Why y'all gotta take it from us? We didn't do anything wrong. So it was a tough pill to swallow because we were excited.
Yeah.
That was like one of my first, memories of a winning culture. I honestly can't say I had too many after that. But just being a part, even though I did good individually, just being part of a winning culture. So I don't know if that was subconsciously something I said, okay, well, is this easy for you to get this far and be taken away from you without you being able to do anything about it?
That you was invested.
Yes.
Like,
So that had to
mentally,
be-
physically,
Yeah.
already there.
Okay, so what about you, Ms. Lane?
I can say that at that time in my life, I was very young. I understood what was going on, but I couldn't really grasp everything. It was really like, okay, we didn't work very hard. I remember thinking when I got home after the news, though, on the car ride home, we was a very humble team. And, for something to happen like this was kind of like, what did we do to really deserve it, especially going to a Catholic school, being taught all these,
Yeah.
religions and Bible verses. It was just kind of like, okay, I couldn't process it really. But in hindsight, as I got older, it was just really like another add to the trauma of the things that happen in your life that you just have to learn how to. Number one, you're being resilient through those things, and number two, you just learn to fight for what you want.
I like to comment on that too because you said the word trauma. In most of our communities, we go through a lot of trauma that we consider normal, right? But we overcome them, and that's the reason why we're so strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because those adversities create character. They were designed to destroy us, but we keep coming up out the ashes like the phoenix.
All right, so before we go to Mr. Stanton, because he's in his studio, we got the young lady on the phone, Janaemusic. So Janae, give us a little
I know I
bit.
seen her on the video. I ain't mentioned your name, but I see you on the video because you know your father. Hit me up. It's my daughter. So I'm a fan. Okay.
Hey, Times Square when she was on that big.
Hey, all that.
Time,
I'm not
man.
fault for leaving out the video and the big boy. Hey.
Okay, so Miss Janaemusic, we talking about the importance of sports in the life of a kid. So tell us who you are, what you're doing, and give us some of your sports background and what you did, where it took you, and how it shaped your life today.
For sure. Okay, so I'm Janaemusic. I am a music artist from DC, singer, songwriter, rapper, actress. I am currently based in Atlanta right now. Still pursuing a dream, making things happen. But in terms of sports, initially, I feel like as a kid, we played all types of sports. We played everything. We played
Okay,
football,
Miss Janae, I'm gonna ask you to hold that thought for 1 minute while I bring in this caller, and then we're gonna come right back to you. Okay, just a moment.
Okay.
So we gonna go. Well,
This is
hung
where
up.
we're at.
Okay, Miss Janae.
Yeah.
Okay, the caller ended before we can group her in. But go ahead.
Continue.
Tell us.
So yeah, I feel like we play sports. We pretty much play every sport from, feminine sports like cheerleading, dance, all the way to, soccer, basketball, football, everything. But for me, we honed in on basketball a lot. So we played in school, we played AAU, we played seriously in terms of going to school to play basketball.
All right.
And then, trying to go to college, you need me to hold again?
Yeah, hold for me. Hello, you on with Man in the Mirror. Who do we have?
This is Leonard from a nonprofit called Competitive Edge.
All right, Mr. Leonard, we were expecting you, but hold the line. We're going to connect you in, conference you in. We got Miss Janaemusic, who's giving us a little rendition. Then we're going to go to Mr. Stanton, then we're going to come to you, okay?
Perfect.
Excellent. All right, just a moment. Okay, I think we got everybody. Okay, so Janae, go ahead, continue, please.
Yeah, so I, again, playing basketball pretty much all of my youth, and then trying to go to college, getting up to, preparing to play basketball in college in D1 and all of that. I felt like, honestly, I felt like sports really gave me the option to be active, be healthy, something to create camaraderie with my peers. I really found a new family and started building relationships with like-minded individuals. But also, sports taught me a lot of things that I feel like I can take into the real world, in terms of teamwork, knowing your personnel, really figuring out who you are as a person, what roles you can play in others' lives, how you benefit people, networking across. And then also, my dad, one of the GOATs, he always taught me this birthday to the day, this day. And I always say, like you said, every little thing you do sets up every little thing you do. And he always said that on the court. But I feel like it just applies in so many ways outside of life, too, where it's just like every move you make, everything you do is like planning, running a play. Every little step you make is gonna fall into the next step that you want to do. Whatever effort you make now will kind of feed into your success. So, that's pretty much what I stand. I feel like sports is necessary for youth, even if it's not to be a professional, it's to be, a better person. I feel like it puts you in a space where you learn how to be around people and to be with people. Outside of just being active, you start to form bonds. You learn who your tribe is, and I think that matters a lot.
Thank you, Ms. Janaemusic. Okay, so we're gonna go to the esteemed gentleman here, Mr. Stan. Give us a rendition of your history and all that good stuff and what sports have done for you.
Well, I'm loving the conversation, and I want to just tap back into something though that I think is so critical. It's something that I address in every possible venue or opportunity I have to talk to people, and that is the significance of family and fathers. If you think about, I graduated from high school in 1988, which at that point in time in 1990 they were calling us young Generation X. The X was for dead, young, black, and extinct, right? And I grew up in Annapolis, Maryland, but of course Annapolis is tied to DC.
Right.
And all the go-go bands came to Annapolis, but then Annapolis also has Baltimore right there, which at one point in time was known as, you had DC as murder capital of the world, but then Baltimore led the nation 10 out of 20 years in juvenile homicide. So when you think about the fact that for 30 years, we've lost like 16,000 people, men, roughly. You could give or take 14 to 16,000 nationwide. So think about that times 30. Then think about the fact that fathers are removed. And think about what grandfathers played in our lives. You know what I mean? Like the deep voice, just that whole process. The support and the love and the accountability and the discipline and the teach you how to do things and it just be there. One of the things that we don't talk about in sports a lot is when children come off the court, you all didn't experience it because you spoke to but your support is so critical because when you walk off that court and there's nobody there, night after 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 night, and then you see somebody else getting that love, that hurts.
Burn you up inside.
It's a terrible feeling. And then if you just think if you even if you're good or not, but just that love and support, win, lose, or draw.
That's right.
But the absence of that consistently, it hardens you. Because what else can you do?
Yeah.
And then you see somebody else, family, you glad to be with them and all that, but at the same time, you realize that your parents are not there. And so people like, well, how do these young people get so hard? How they get so hard?
Yeah.
Because when you run up against that brick wall and you got to keep showing up and you love it, but you ain't got nobody to feed your passion. And just think that's just sports, but what about the artists? What about the people who love science, but ain't nobody to help them with their science project? You know what I mean? So I just, really want to first acknowledge the fathers, that did that, but also for those fathers that might be out there listening that don't have that relationship with their children or their grandchildren, go back home, man.
Yeah.
Whether they speak to you or not, show up at the graduation while graduating, whether they even invite you, show up, be outside, let them see you ride by. Let them see you be there. If you is down, if it's wherever it is, go to the equestrian center, stand out on 301 with a sign. Let them see you. It's important.
It's very.
I mean, look at these successful young ladies as a result of the fact that people was there.
Well, Mr. Stanton, I'm going to say this to you, man. You just stepped all over my feet.
My
The reason why my girls had such a present father is because I played baseball, football, basketball, and boxed at a very high level. I'm talking about making it to the national box off to go to the Olympics. I'm talking about playing on national championship teams. And my mom, a single mom, God bless her, worked 3 jobs and went to school. Never saw me participate in any sport my entire life. And I was that kid that you just described. When I got my Letterman's jacket, I had to call my sister out of the stands to come down and present my Letterman jacket in front of a gymnasium of my peers and their families. I was the only one that didn't have a parent there. That meant the Letterman jacket meant nothing to me. You know what I mean?
Hey,
but to go from that, it gave me there's 2 ways you can go with trauma.
That's right.
As Terrence said. It's good or bad.
That's right.
It can either feed you.
That's right.
Or bleed you.
Yeah.
It fed me.
Right.
And I said I never wanted my children to feel
what you felt.
What I felt.
Yeah.
And they can tell you today, if they call me and say, Dad, I'm down the street, I'm going to get them.
That's
if
right.
they in Atlanta and say, I got a show, Dad, I'm flying down.
That's right.
You understand?
That's right.
Anything I can do for them, man, that's my retirement. You dig what I'm saying?
Hey, well, so I appreciate you allowing me to just, interject that because
that's very important.
It is. It's important.
And I understand the absence because those who didn't have it don't have a frame of reference.
Right.
See, it's that frame of reference that allows you to go back to that. But if you don't have a frame of reference, then you don't know it. You really don't know. So that's the other thing. People are like, oh, well, people should know better. They can see all that. If you don't have a frame of reference to even inkling it, then it's hard. You don't know what it looked like.
That's so hard.
And so for me, I was fortunate because I had my dream. I grew up in Annapolis, as I said, and Annapolis High School. Just a little footnote for you, a little sports history, has been to the state championships at Cole Fieldhouse more than any other team in the state of Maryland. Now I'm going to give this caveat: Dunbar and Baltimore City were not in the state championship playoffs up until the last maybe 15 years ago. So all of that time prior, they were just the city league.
Right.
They were not part of the state system. Okay, because if they were, Dunbar or whoever else. Okay, I just want to make that clear. Now Annapolis played Dunbar almost every year, and I don't ever remember us beating them. To be quiet, the JV we did, but not the varsity. Right. But anyway, So my father played in '70 up at Coldfield House, and my uncle won Annapolis' first championship in '74. So in my head, we moved. We lived in Annapolis, moved to Baltimore, and I wanted to come back home to go to Annapolis and play ball like my uncle and my father. So I did, and I went to junior high school first, and our junior high school games was so tough that they used to scout tickets to our games. Channel 13 would come to Baltimore. The line would be wrapped around the building for Annapolis and Bates junior high school games. But then we all ended up playing together, going to Annapolis High, and we won, my squad's 2 years championships in junior high. Right. But our coach used to teach us how much you give, 110. Who are we? Big, but we were gentlemen, and then we dressed up on, right? So I think that was part of the deal. Game day, you got to dress up.
Yeah.
You know, to just teach you how to prepare yourself, whatever the lane is, right?
It's still working, eh?
It's still working.
Yeah.
It's still working. Yeah. It's exactly. Thank you so much. So anyway, I got to high school, 10th grade, we won the championship. 11th grade, we went to Coldfield House, lost to Jay Bias. They threw an opening, I never forget it, alley-oop, then over from half court. Jay Bias at that time, Lynn's little brother,
That was Northwestern.
was Northwestern High School.
My wife
That's right, in high school.
graduated from there too.
And they won the state championship that year.
Janae is an alumni of some of Northwestern, but she mostly Martin's Christian.
Right. So we, that following year, went back. I mean, they came to us, our opening game, right? Now, all this time, junior high, high school, I'm starting, I'm playing, you know, I'm one of the top players on the squad. My senior year, we got to, first game of the season was against them, they came to us. I think I was watching Jay. I think Jay had 12. I had like 22, 10 rebounds, something like 24. They lost. We beat them, right? Big deal. So now we ready to roll. My third game, the coach was like, you, Stanton, he's in for you, right? So I'm cool. Because I'm a team player. I don't know what's going on, but I had a Bobby Knight type coach, right? He was until he got to Coldfield House. He sat down and like this, right? So we frickling because we don't know, like, where's the screaming? You know what I mean? Where's that constant because that's what he was like. After that, next game, I'm coming off the bench. So I don't understand it because he ain't talk to me. He ain't say, you know, you did this wrong, whatever. I was like, Daddy, I don't think I can handle this no more. My father said to me, he said, son, you're not a quitter. You can't quit. He said, but you're going to have to learn. I never shared this part of it. He said, but you have to learn how to deal with a white man like this for the rest of your life. That's what he said. And I stayed and stuck through it. And we ended up going, like, I think, regionals and lost, but we lost the regional championship. We didn't go back to the Coldfield House the next year. So I went on to play ball at junior college, but that was devastating for me. I could handle coming off the bench because I told you my first team was off the bench. That's why I told the story. But then to come off the bench when you know you should be playing and you ain't get no reason.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand it, but I stuck with it. I humbled, but it taught me the value of being humble, right? And in addition to that, it tells you to deal with. You gonna make it. You know, you gonna go through it. When I heard what you all went through, that was devastating. But it lets you know that life can go on. You know, and because we feel like these big events and things come into our lives, you know, once that doesn't happen, it's the end of the world. You know, but you got to shift. And I went on to a junior college and played ball at Anne Arundel Community College and got an opportunity. And somebody was like, you know, I see you doing this work in the community. We want you to be the county executive youth coordinator. I was like, what? What is that? And, you know, so he called me. He's like, well, how much would you want to get paid? How many hours? I was a full-time job. I was smart enough to know, you know, I was in college. I was like, the full-time gig is 40 hours, blah, 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 blah. He said, okay. 2 months later, he called me back. He said, come in for the interview. He slid me the paper. He said, you got the job. So I was like, am I going to the pros or am I going to start my career? I started my career. from there, I ended up being the drug czar. The mayor came to my house, another opportunity. God was like, "Is that Darius on that picture?" He's like, "Yes, how do you know him? That's my son. I want to be my drug czar." What? I was 21. And I was the youngest drug czar in the country for the city of Annapolis as part of the cabinet with the chief of police, police chief, fire chief, planning and zoning. So I learned everything about how municipalities work at 21. Plus I was a department head, right? I didn't even have a degree at the time. But it was basketball, partially sports, that let me jump into arenas that I didn't have really nothing to know about. Because you go in the gyms, you're the only one there. And I told you about that. It was so bad in the junior high school, we couldn't wear our clothes in the winter because they would steal our clothes out the gym.
Right.
Wow.
All we could go in was with our sweat gear. We couldn't even no coats because they're gonna steal. You know, they took it. So that's the kind of. But when you have that kind of confidence that comes from playing in those kind of environments, playing in courts in summer leagues when you better not make that shorty, but man, you know what I mean? Everybody right here. You know what I mean? All of that really prepares you for dealing with stuff that you might be afraid of, you ain't sure about, you questioning yourself, but I took those leaps. Now fortunately I had family, right? And so to hear this, and I'm so glad to hear, one of the reasons why I wanted to really come on is because I connected with a family called Competitive Edge. Lenny and Lisa Leonard that's on the phone now. And you talked about I understand the significance of emotional intelligence, and that's what their organization is about, Competitive Edge EQ. And because that's what really allowed my family taught me how to pay attention to people and watch people, and most importantly, how to treat people.
That's important. That's important.
And see, we took when one of the Boys and Girls Clubs I mentioned earlier, I ran Boys and Girls Clubs. So I went to Baltimore and we opened up a club in the Juvenile Justice Center, which, if you ever watched The Wire, they call it baby booking.
Right. Baby booking.
One of the most violent facilities in the country, let alone the state. 75 fights a month, only 120 boys. 25 boys got taken to the hospital. They got a medical unit in the facility. That's how bad it was. After the first year, when we started this program, the incidents went down to like 75 a month to 12, 15.
Wow.
Two things happened. One, they saw men that were consistent there 7 days a week.
Keyword.
Some came dressed like this, some in sweatsuits, and the brother was like, "Yo, man, I ain't getting enough, but I just want you to know I like your cufflinks." Or, that's that cologne you got on the shop. They started to, 2 months in, they was like, "Yo, can I run the program today? Hey, man, can you put your feet down? Hey, brother, can you pull your pants up?
Yeah,
hey, man, you ain't saying nothing today.
You have to meet people where they are, and at that,
They picked their models, everything that we were doing. They watched it all.
I want our viewers, there was a couple of things I wanted to say what Nate was saying and you were saying, but I want our viewers to see that this is a definitely positive man energy for just our people right now. Because see, when we get sold a bad bill of goods, that we can't do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm living it myself, so I can know Nate living it, and I know Rodney. He's also doing some things in the communities. So we are doing it. So they getting the news is pushing it. We're not.
That's why this important. This show is so important.
That's why we here.
That's right. That's right.
I want to bring a statistic up, right?
Oh.
So there's a commercial. There's a internet sensation. This guy's talking about statistics, and he's talking about the prison system.
You know what we said then?
He says 70% of black men that's in prison come from single parent homes that are led by mothers.
That's
right? But families that are led by fathers, single fathers, match the success rate almost 1-for-1 of families that have two parents in it.
Wow.
So that tells you the strength of a black male in his family. But here's the kicker. All of the systematic help that you can get from the federal and state government.
Because your man can't get it.
Only goes to
This includes the black man as being part of the family.
Good God Almighty.
Now, if you look
Yes.
at public assistance,
Yes.
TANF, or any of these
Can't
other
get your man.
programs,
Mm-hmm.
you can get it as long as you're a single black woman. We want to keep you in that hole.
Yeah.
But if you bring a man in there, we're going to kick you off the program.
So we know. Listen, you bring it right back to me too. We know what the problem is. I call it barbershop talk, right? Barbershop talk. We talk about the problem.
Yeah.
Well, he on Man in the Mirror. We
talk about
solution based.
I
We
love
solution based.
I'm
So
in the right
man,
spot.
you know, it starts with each individual. So we get this content out that each individual male. Like I'm one of those kids that got off track, but had good leadership in some areas. I come from a single family home, but I had a strong mom, and you know, my mom just passed.
Yeah.
So we get ready to bury her tomorrow, right?
Oh,
but she was a thoroughbred, you know. So that excludes that a black woman can't raise a man, but she did. She raised two of them, me and my little brother, men. So, but we did have uncles. We did have. I had that step grandfather that which I am one now.
Nice, right.
You know, we're not blood, but it's my grandson.
Yeah.
Right.
I wasn't his blood, but I was his grandson.
Right.
You know, he was with my grandma. But we had somebody, and we had one of the coaches on here a couple of shows ago, right?
Man, Lucky.
Lucky Elliott, right?
Yeah. Brendan's fault.
And he never coached me, but his leadership that he taught the other coaches, they did coach
It's like a
me.
blueprint.
The blueprint, and they followed the blueprint. And what I'm saying that is, y'all can follow the blueprint. Get with Mr. Sutton. Get with Mr. Stanton. Get with Nate Jenkins. Get with Mr. Grimes. Get with people like myself. And I can say that, you know, because I'm living right today.
There it is.
But I was the ones who with the penitentiaries. I was one of the ones kids that with the detention homes. Now I go into detention homes.
That's right.
Now I go into penitentiaries and speak.
That's
But
right.
you
So-
going in with the experience. 'Cause
With the
you've been
experience.
through the-
So
yeah.
you can't say you can't
So they can
be
do
done.
what Darius talking about, model themselves
Model
after
themselves.
your experience.
So they can't say it can't be done there. That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
That old cliche of you just doomed because you came up,
Yeah.
you know, the wrong way on the wrong side of the tracks and all that. Man, look, we can overcome that.
All right, let's go to the phones right now. So we talked a little bit about trauma, right? So we're gonna hit Janae, and then we have
Lenny Leonard from Competitive Edge
We're
UQ
gonna
wants
have
to talk about the
Competitive
big
Edge folks
fundraiser
on
that's
it.
coming up.
Okay.
So Janae, we talked about what happened to the CYO team at Holy Comforter when they got their championship snatched from them. I understand that when you went to Montrose, you had a change that you had to overcome. Tell us about how that affected you and how that helps you now in your life. Then we'll go to Lenny, and Lenny, you can tell us all about what you guys are doing. So go ahead, Janae.
Well, it depends on which change you're referring to. I feel like there were multiple changes, but
Okay.
I think the initial change, going into Montrose, I thought, I spent most of my childhood playing basketball and playing for my dad. My dad was my coach. That's all I knew. And so going into Montrose, I knew that he was going to be my coach. But then that there was a change. He wasn't coaching there anymore. We got a new coach. And honestly, I wasn't prepared. I was a little frustrated. I was confused. I wasn't used to, working with anyone else or taking guidance from anyone else. And so I felt like in that moment I was able to, just make adjustments and learn how to work with other people. And I learned how to take direction from someone that I didn't necessarily, fully trust. I learned how to start trusting people or trying to build a rapport so that I can trust people and grow with them. And it just really put me in a space where I learned how to, navigate outside of my family, outside of my home, and outside of my comfort zone. Because I never knew that. Like all my life, I've known being, working with my dad, being with my dad. So this is the first time where I had to work with new people, and my dad wasn't in charge at the moment.
Okay, so
And that was a huge shift for me in terms of managing who I was and learning myself a little more outside of being, baby girl.
Now, how does that affect you in your walk today?
I mean, I think it gave us a space where we had a relationship outside of just basketball. I mean, I think that it it's made us have a great relationship, but also, it's one of those things where I also was able to still call on him. He would still be present, even if he's not running things. I can still call and be like, hey, I need this advice or I need help with this. But also, I feel like now I'm a little more independent. I'm able to make moves on my own. I'm able to take advice from people. I don't have to call you every single day and look to you and wait for you in every moment to grow or to be better at something. It let me learn to evaluate things on my own and to step away from just doing what I'm told, or doing what you would deem as right. I now have somewhat of like a mind of my own. I have that independence where I can think for myself. I can feel for myself. And then having you support me and believe in me from a different space, from afar, lets me know, like even right now in this capacity where I am, coming to Atlanta, being able to take this leap and say, okay, I can go from a distance and know that my dad still supports me and still has my back. And when I need him, he's there. I can turn around, make a call, whatever, but I can do this on my own. And I don't need him to walk me through and hold my hand step by step every step of the way.
Okay. So, Miss Amy, you had a question.
Yeah, actually, hi, Miss Janaemusic. This is Amy Case 1978. Hey, listen, you actually just answered my question. I was getting ready to ask, how was it to have your dad coach you? But you already said he's very supportive and guided you and everything. But you can tell us the truth. He got on your nerves.
Oh, for sure. So, don't give me
Yeah, to.
I love spending time with him. I love the fact that, honestly, I wanted to play basketball because I just wanted to be around him. But there were times where I felt like, him coaching me, I felt like he was harder on me than he was on other people.
He was. He was. I can tell you.
When we're in practice, he's purposely harping on me so that people know that he ain't my favorite.
Yeah, showing favoritism. Right.
That was great coaching.
Once I left practice, practicing in that practice came home. Games came home.
Saturday mornings, you woke up and was practicing.
Yeah, it felt like this is, he regulates everything. So, I think that some kids, feel like when they have coaches that aren't their parents, those coaches offer guidance while they're there, and that's what they get from them at that moment. But for him being, him being present at every moment, it's nonstop. So it absolutely was annoying. It was like, all right, we get it.
Did you hear that?
Over again.
Tiesha definitely.
In the rain.
Hey, look, it was. Hey, Janae, I think we got a consistency on this. I think this was universal. This is how he is.
But her dad was just like me.
Right.
But it's fun though. I can't even knock it because it's fun. And also, like I said, it's one of those things where it's like, when you eat and sleep and breathe something, you get great at it. And so I think that it fed me in a way where it was super positive, and I definitely see the outcome. But I think at the time as a kid, it's also like, all right, Dad, I got it. Relax, leave me alone. But then it's also hard to continue. I think the main thing is imagine how to balance the relationships. And as a kid, you don't know how to balance relationships. So, he used to tell us all the time when we were in practice, I'm Coach Nate. So he wouldn't let us. I couldn't say Dad while I'm
Hey, no, hold on, Janae. But he keep calling me government name. He won't do it himself. You said a few minutes ago.
And then when you leave, you no longer Coach Nate, you Dad, but you giving me both in both spaces. So don't let me make the mess.
That's him. That's him.
And then it turns out, I'm gonna whoop your ass.
Hey, no, you can't do that to your basketball player.
I was a dad at that point.
Yeah, you can't keep switching hats.
Yeah. I'm like, which one we don't? Let me get an attitude on the court and I'm ready to fight. And he's like, you don't act like I'm gonna beat your ass. You better fight.
You can't talk to your players like that.
So it was
Well, we
no
gonna be the
bounds.
coach of the door.
Nah,
Other
I'm
than
coaching along what they doing what they
you coach
supposed to
that.
do.
You coach that. Coach that.
As a kid, you don't know nothing about, you don't know nothing. You also don't know boundaries yet, right? So,
Right.
if you crossing boundaries, ain't no way for me to stand up and be like, hey, you crossing that line. Only person that couldn't cross the line was me. But you can cross it.
He a habitual line crosser.
Oh my
And
God.
y'all need a book and a movie or a sitcom.
You know, you could have reported him to the school board.
No, she couldn't. I was on school board.
Damn, I'm trying to help you out.
Right. Terrible.
Look,
Hey, Janae, you doing to me now.
okay, let's move on. We got the competitive edge folks on the line.
I spoke to my mother, and she was like, y'all gonna figure that out.
He was doing it to her.
Oh my God.
Hey, look. Yeah, let's move on though.
Okay, we got the competitive edge folks on the line. Tell us who
That
you
was-
are
that was crazy.
and what's going on with you. The Leonards, right?
That's it. How you doing?
Oh.
Peace and love, everybody.
All right.
Can I address, hey, before you start, Mr. Leonard?
On the show, first of all,
Oh, he stopped.
and now
Oh, yes,
I'm gonna take it full circle.
All right.
So, Coach T was the first coach that my daughter had when she first started playing basketball.
All
Still got
right.
those pictures.
All right.
Involved. So, it just goes to show you
Look at
how important it is to have a village with these kids.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when she went to Coach T, I can say it, she was horrible. But Coach T did something that you can't teach because it came from her heart.
Right.
And she went from being the kind of kid that didn't know, that wasn't assertive, to becoming a warrior. Now, what we do at Competitive Edge, through watching people like Coach T, is we deal with emotional intelligence. What we do is we teach student athletes different ways and different pathways how to advance their lives through emotional intelligence. Because no matter who you are, like Coach T told Bianca, I led the Big East in rebounding.
Yeah, you
That's
tell
how
him.
good.
That's big deal. That's big deal.
Yeah.
What we do in competitive edge is we say, look, what's your plan B? What's your backup? How you gonna do it? And we use the skills of emotional intelligence to help them overcome those traumas, because traumas are in a neighborhood, in a classroom, everywhere you are, there's some type of trauma. So if you're able to become more self-aware, if you're able to adapt to different circumstances and situations, it's better for you. And that's what we do, is we begin to teach not only the young people, sometimes it's parents, as I heard you guys talk. So we deal with parents, we deal with kids, and believe it or not, we deal with coaches. Because at the end of the day, everybody in Fortune 500, most of the CEOs at one time or another, they play sports.
Right.
Now they're in charge of companies that impact all of our lives. And the skills that they learn from sport is how they run their company. And what we're doing for our black and brown kids is to say, you have all the skills to run a Fortune 500 company, and you're learning the skills through sport. What we want to do is teach you to use and transfer those skills to something else. In sports, you call it teamwork. In corporate America, you call it collaboration.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing.
That's right. That's right.
So that's what we do. That's where we plant our flowers. And a shameless plug, on June 10th, we're having our second annual fundraiser at the Woodmore Country Club,
All right.
featuring Marcus Johnson. And we would love for everybody in the community to come out, because it's important.
Let me ask you this. Is that DC, Maryland?
That's up on my brother.
Okay.
Tell them.
Hey, hold on.
Okay.
We gotta tell them how it is though. We don't just have
Privacy,
Marcus Johnson, right? We got Marcus Johnson who's gonna perform. In addition to him performing, he got wine tasting with his Flow wine, which happens to be one of the top 10 black wines in the world by Forbes magazine. So that's gonna be there. In addition to that, they got cigar bar, a silent auction. You know, and I know my man, he like to take his trips, so he gonna be there to buy his daughter some trips and some other stuff. And then on top of that, they also got a DJ, food, and dancing, all for just $125 at the prestigious Country Club at Woodmore.
Woodmore, as in where? Where's it located?
Bowie,
Maryland.
right off 495. You can't miss it.
Yes.
It's behind the gates, but if you got your $100, $25 ticket, you can get it.
Yes.
Well, we
Woodmore
need
Country
you.
Club.
We need you. Look, pass the word, right? Competitive Edge EQ.
And what date is that?
June 10th. Go to the
June
Facebook
10th.
page. Go to Instagram. You know, we got a whole lot of people that are supporting this, former Georgetown players, Seton Hall players.
Okay.
You know, we got Coach T in the house, and you know, you heard. It was definitely a full circle, Lenny, and I heard something today that I never heard before. And that was that my father would take the players that got cut and make that his squad.
Yeah, that's
And look what she did for your daughter.
Yeah, look at that.
You see that?
Look at that.
Frame of reference.
That's how it works.
Right?
Yeah.
So come on out and support people that are supporting people. Push people, love people. June 10th, Competitive Edge EQ, Woodmore Country Club, 125. Go online now today. Get your tickets now and put your money where your mouth is, Slim.
Support.
I like
look,
that.
while we doing that, I was thinking about my man, for a minute, let me get this one in. My man, Gary, what's Gary last? Gary Clark. Gary Clark, he has, Pep Rowdy Peace in the Street. That's his organization, right? They're gonna be on, Pennsylvania 30th Southeast on June the 17th. They're doing the annual Juneteenth thing. And they're at the big church on the corner.
It was at Pennsylvania Avenue?
Pennsylvania, up from the old Mortons.
Pennsylvania Avenue Baptist Church right there, Pennsylvania 30th.
And 30th.
Pennsylvania Avenue Baptist Church. Got
Right.
a big parking lot
Yeah,
right there.
it start early, so be out there about 10, 11ish or something. And I'm one of the speakers too, so I can shape the
Oh, you on Juneteenth?
Yeah,
You know I got some
Juneteenth.
information for you.
Yeah.
On Juneteenth. From last year.
Yeah. So I had Nate come out to one of the events for the Juneteenth.
Yeah.
And he spoke. And it's all we gotta all support each other. I'm
Yes,
on one of
indeed.
those tickets. I'm gonna get one of those tickets.
Appreciate it.
Yes,
There we
sir.
go.
Yes, sir.
Cha-ching, we need that.
We there. We in there.
That's
Well,
right.
I need two.
We
I can ready to
got
say,
you.
wait a
We
minute.
got you.
I got one.
You got to
Hey,
wait.
and
Get
another thing
I'm gonna
was,
set you up.
when I met my wife, y'all, she had trophies in the house, right?
What I wanted to say, what I wanted to say and kind of end with it, is that essentially what's so dynamic is that we all need to come together, all of the nonprofits, because it's about helping kids.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, when we come together, we strengthen our kids, we strengthen our community, and this is what it's about.
That's right. And man, we definitely gonna push your narrative. I was saying when I met my wife real quick to tie it into to Coach T right here. She had trophies in the house, right? I'm like, man, all these basketball trophies. I said, who played basketball? Because she got brothers. I'm like, she said, oh, me. I said, yeah. I said, got one trophy. She said, athlete of the year. So that means all sports.
All sports.
So she said, yeah, I was the rebounder. So yeah.
No
Th-
doubt.
Dennis
You
Rodman.
married an all-star.
Yeah.
Yeah, he stepped his game up a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's
You know what I'm
what's wrong
saying?
with it.
He came out the bleachers and got somebody
Yeah.
off the
I
score.
was pretty, you know, I was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was pretty good
But,
myself.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me, man. I tell you, we understand as human beings that idle time is the devil's workshop, right? And you know, out of my 10 daughters, 7 of them, all adults, have all attended college, right? And they're all doing their thing. Well, one thing I pride myself on was idle time was not something that we had. You know, and it's because I remember what I did with idle time. See,
Right.
Boy and I come from the same cloth. See, I did the penitentiary, I did the running the streets, I did the drugs, I did all of that, but it was all done during idle time.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
With no guidance, no place to be,
Right.
they
No
start
purpose.
shutting down
The
community centers,
yeah,
rec
man.
centers,
Come on.
after school programs. So, you know, when people say these kids bad as hell in this neighborhood, and I say, well, what's in the
Right,
neighborhood
give them something to do.
that gives them something to do, right? Some structure, right?
Right.
And it's non-existent, and that was by design.
Well, let me
Right.
say this though. My grandson, he played for Bennett Park since he was 5 years old. I'm saying it before the thing. So they're starting in DC. They're starting to up their activities for the kids. I can say I'm an involved grandparent now. He been playing since 5 years old, basketball and football. So and man, you go see the fields.
They nice.
Prairie Farms.
They nice.
He's playing with Rosedale now because you know y'all heard about the shooting over Bennett Park, right? When the kids was out there, he was out there.
Right.
And they did shoot. They were shooting. So they not practicing out Bennett Park no more. So they merged with Rosedale.
But see,
So
I like that.
Yeah, they're doing it, man. They're doing
But
it.
here's the problem. So I used to work at DC Park and Rec. I used to be the CIO up there, right? Doing the process of them building all these new rec centers.
Yeah.
And in the planning of it, right? My argument with them was, we got to go where the people are, where the need is. They were like, no, we got to go where the money is, because we are doing regional services, not neighborhood services. So what happens is, when I was coming out, we didn't have to go home from school.
Yeah, they was,
At Payne, the cafeteria turned, the multi-purpose room turned into the rec center.
Right.
yeah.
Or I go to Watkins or any other little
Right.
around the neighborhood.
Right.
Every school had an after school program that the kids didn't have to go anywhere
Right.
until the parents showed up
Right.
or it was time the lights come on, you got to get home type
Right.
scenario, right?
Exactly.
When you went to this, I want to build this turkey thicket. I want to build this glamorous place.
Right.
But at the expense of the neighborhood centers,
Right.
I'm gonna create this regional scenario where a kid gotta walk 10 blocks
Yeah.
Okay, I
to
see what
get
you're
to this
saying.
regional
You gotta get
great
through a whole
center.
bunch of neighborhoods.
I gotta go through the
you
hood,
can't go through
the
that.
hustlers.
go through.
I gotta go through the alleys.
Right.
I gotta be bullied.
The girls gotta
I
get
gotta do
catcalled.
all that.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
gotta go through all that.
Yeah,
So
see-
guess what I'm not gonna do?
See, I learned something right there.
Yeah.
This is why man
Yeah.
the mirror is so important.
Yeah.
Because we learn from each other.
Yeah.
So like that's a great point.
So when you went regional, what you not gonna do is have children on the fringes come in.
That's right.
Right?
Not gonna
So, peep this, and you know this, and I'm gonna take it back to Alexander, Charles Houston, right?
Yeah.
When you was a kid, Charles Houston, everybody in those projects around it flooded that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But as they closed the projects, they built a better rec center,
Yeah. Yeah, they-
okay? As they closed the
neighborhoods that-
lesser income communities, the centers became better, but they became regional centers.
Yeah.
Because
So they
and
bringing
here
in.
people always say
Right,
they ain't build that for us,
The people that were there.
and that's
Yeah.
a true statement.
Yeah.
They didn't build it for us.
Oh, yeah,
in the
got swimming
neighborhood.
pool in there.
They built it
Yeah, the
regionally,
boxing gym.
right? They build it regionally for the region.
We
So
didn't have
who
a-
gonna come there?
So you know what I want to take this like directly to that corner
Right.
where you are and Lenny on the phone, and the reason being is because what we have to do in our community is we have to create scenarios where we're building our own.
Come on, man.
And we're making
Go
those
ahead,
that
baby.
we put in office do what it is we need to do, and not just go to them for a memorial,
Right.
a playground, but we need business. Like in for example, in Baltimore, the Ravens owner, you know, Kevin Plank, is that his name?
Right.
Right. They got, in addition to that, they built up almost all of South Baltimore, Canton area.
Oh,
They
yeah.
gave them hundreds of billions of dollars, right? So what are we doing with the resources when we get it? When we in charge, when we in offices, in political office, we gotta hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
And we gotta stop asking for them crumbs
Right.
and get some real investment.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like you, Nate, are building communities now. You are part of developments that are
Right.
building where people can live in a decent neighborhood. You know, where there's research that shows the environment makes a difference.
Oh my God.
If I come outside and I smell, excuse
Come
my
on, that's
expression, pee on the floor,
That's right.
somebody shooting
type of
dice,
mentality
you
I
gotta
have?
walk through this, walk through that every day, it impacts your psyche.
Yes.
Versus if I come outside, I hear the birds chirping, I smell some fresh flowers, it's a total different mindset.
Yes, it is.
And I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
How many children, man, come to school crying? Little girl was crying. One of the projects our company had, we did putting internet in children's homes. The little girl was crying. She was like, the teacher said, "Why are you crying?" She said, "I'm hungry." That's second grade in Prince George's County.
No
You
reason to
understand
be
what I'm
hungry.
saying?
School because they want to eat.
They hungry.
want guaranteed.
And so our priorities are misconstrued. So I just want to encourage us, like, to really, like you said, if you see brothers that's doing it, put the envy aside, put the I don't like yo, he think he all that. Our children dying.
Yeah, they dying.
We show up at the grant, we don't have time for that. We got to put all that aside. Stop all that petty squabbling while we, you know, this one, he think he that, my organization. They come together. You know what I mean? That's we got to come together. Sports, you know, this my organization. Like this, bring them together.
And
You know,
men,
we gotta come
and men,
together,
it start
man.
with something as men. It start with something as you being the first one to show the support. Not waiting, oh, he don't support me,
Right.
or whatever.
You
And
just
then,
right.
and then even if they don't support you, continue to be supportive.
Yeah.
Because, like, man, I can see if you just totally taking the money and doing all kind of wild stuff, it's different. But if you have an organization that's doing something for the community, even if they don't support you, support them. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you know, here's the thing. The misnomer is this statement called community involvement. Okay? We got a caller. Okay. Let me make this statement. We'll go to the caller. We misuse statements and words. When we say community involvement, hardly ever is people in the community involved. In that community. We need to change that. Okay? We need to understand that, like Mr. Dariuos stated, every political decision, there's an opportunity for you to participate. We just don't take that opportunity. We don't show up at town halls. We don't come to the meet. When they make a
School board
change,
meetings, you said it.
they put a bulletin up in your neighborhood
Yep.
telling you exactly when it's going to happen,
Yeah.
where it's going to happen, at what time it's going to
That's
happen.
right.
And we walk right past that sign
Yep.
and say, that ain't for me.
I went to
But everything that comes out of that meeting affects you directly.
Hey, Nate,
You
Nate.
need to be there. It's
Nate, you
not
told-
free
Hey, Nate,
attendance.
you told the truth.
Free
though.
attendance, baby.
Hey, Nate.
Because you
Nate,
know we be there.
That's
Nate,
right.
Nate, you told the truth. When I worked at Kid at Congress Heights, they had a big picture of how the neighborhood gonna be in a certain amount of years, and then that's before they even built that stadium.
Yeah, yeah. It was already planned.
yeah.
And they give you an opportunity to come out and have a voice. But they don't give you a welcome. They're not sending an invitation to your house. They'll do what's necessary by law, which is post it. They're not gonna market or advertise it. Right? Now we got a call on the line. Who we got?
This is Katrina McMurray Brown.
Good.
And
afternoon, Katrina.
one of our consistent
Call.
supporters.
Yeah.
Nah, that's family.
Peace and love, family.
Hey,
Hello.
Come on, talk to us, Katrina.
Yes, I just want to piggyback on the young man that was speaking concerning. I think he was the last speaker. I think he had the tie on.
Yeah.
That's him.
Okay, good.
That's
That's
him.
identify him, the tie man. You look sharper than a razor.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm
Like a
working on
Gibbs,
it.
like a Gillette.
He was definitely talking real. Let me turn this down. He was talking really real, okay? And so I just believe that a lot of, and I have to say, our people, black people, they like to showboat. And showboating send you down to the shipwreck.
Come on,
If
man.
you stop showboating, acting like you got something when you really don't have nothing, and get with people that have something, then it will be a change. The whole dilemma with the projects and all this other stuff, black people don't even know. We wasn't designed to live in no projects like that. The government to go against us. Do you know how many fathers are fighting with their sons? How many mothers are fighting with their daughters because they don't want them to turn out like them? But the system designed it that way. I have two businesses. Why can't someone that live in a project say, I want to buy a house? Go to a class and buy a house. Why do they have to remain in the project where the government control everything? Because you know why? Because that's the way it's set up. But there is a way out. And that way out is Jesus. That way out is knowing who you are. And that way out is fighting for what you have been promised. And so when we come together and we say, hey, I'm tired of talking about these meetings. I go to meetings all over. I'm tired of talking. What you gonna do? Because see, talking ain't gonna do nothing. It's the action. And when the blacks get the, I'm talking about all over the country, just not in the DMV, but all over the country, and begin to network with other people that's all over the country, instead of being, I think that young man in that tie, he used the word envy. Envy and jealousy is among the black community, because envy and jealousy is like a father and a son, or a mother and a daughter, or a husband and wife. They work together. But when you do not wear the spirit of offense, I can't get offended if my brother is telling me, hey, Katrina, you going down the wrong road. Try it this way. But when you don't say nothing to me, and I go down that road, and that road is death, guess what? Blood will be required on your hands. We won't even warn one another. We talk about stuff that happened years ago. I ain't like you. The man, it's time out for that. It's time to build. And I don't mean no harm, but I gotta go here. They set it up, the narrative. And I'm not saying I'm a Donald Trump fan, but let me tell you something. I followed him and I studied him. The first thing he tried to do, he said, how can those that are on Social Security and living in a project live off of $783 a month? He did a proposal to Congress. He said, give them $3,200 and let them pick their own health care provider and let them too have the American dream and buy a house. Guess what happened? Black people in Congress, all of them shut it down. I just hope they get away with all them Democrat, Republican, all that stuff. We the people, we pay them to work for us. I call my governor. I call mayors. I don't even let them say, oh, I'm going to call you back, or I'm going to show up at your office.
I know that's right.
Until we get people until we get our own government, let me tell you that, till black people get their own government. Because God designed
now
it.
you're on to something. Because if you govern your own affairs, then you can make change.
You can make changes, absolutely. And that's what's happening. God is trying to get us to govern.
See, but that's what they're scared of, Katrina.
It ain't in what's his name? The preacher man, what's his name? Al Sharpton. I talk to him a lot. I know him personally. He getting old. He can't be out there like that no more. Who gonna step up? Who gonna say what? They put them two young boys out of they had seats. I forgot what city or state were in, but they put them out of there.
Oh yeah, down in was it Arkansas, Alabama?
Yes, absolutely. See, those are the things we should be paying attention to. It's money out here for the blacks, but guess who's moving in and getting them? Those who cross over the border, which it should have been locked. They crossed over the border, illegal immigrants, foreigners, whatever you want to call them. They came, they all up and down Georgia Avenue, owning gas stations, owning shops, owning cleaners, owning everything. Even when you go to McDonald's, you see no black or no white person is in McDonald's.
Well, we gonna let you know what's really going on with that, right? So when you look at foreigners and immigration, I know it's kind of like off topic, and they have all these businesses because they have something that we don't teach our children how to respect or use, and it's called credit. So when a foreigner comes here, or anybody, even yourself, man, credit runs from 350 as a score to 850. That's the range. We all start at 600. And then our behaviors and our lifestyle dictate whether you go down or up. Right? Our opportunities always give us a situation where we need to lean on our credit as opposed to work hard and pay for cash. That's what the opportunity does. So when we go to buy or apply for these things, we don't have it. When a foreigner comes in here, he comes with the same 600 we started with. The difference is he don't have years of bad opportunities on his back, where it allows him to diminish that credit score. So when he goes to the bank, it ain't about where he came from. It's about what he's standing on. And what he's standing on is, I haven't ruined my starting point. Right? So they get that. When we look at the banking situation, it is systematically designed for those who stay in it longer to do worse. And that's what we live at. And that's a direct result of us not being able to teach our children something that we weren't taught, which is financial management. So it always goes back, and it's the big elephant in the room, it goes back to the period of slavery when they say, okay, you're free, but I'm not going to teach you how to be free. I'm going to tell you can walk off this plantation, but I'm going to give you nowhere to go.
And we still built our own.
We built our own after that.
Even after that, and they did everything they could, and to the system.
And they still doing it.
The Department of Agriculture,
the biggest one,
took the farmland from us, because we had millions of acres of farmland that's now dwindled down to like almost 10% from what it was.
2% black ownership in farms right now.
And see,
the red line was done by the Department of HUD.
Housing Development.
Along with the National Association of Realtors, they worked together to make sure that when the GIs came home, they let the GI bills go to the white officers and military, but the blacks had to go still live in
a red line district.
But
hold on. But let's take it back to what our topic is, right? We talking about the development of children. Okay?
So
we talking about hold on. But we talking about sports in the development of children, right? So what she's talking about is the lack of financial readiness and understanding, which is one thing that sports avails you to as a child.
Right.
Because as a child, you understand sports ain't free. You come in, if you ever played AAU, you'll get a bill. Okay? You understand, because my teams were all urban teams. AAU cost thousands of dollars to participate in, individually.
Yep.
My parents didn't have it, but we taught them how to fundraise.
That's right.
We taught them how to go get that capital.
That's right.
We taught them how to market themselves to corporations to get sponsorships.
That's right.
You understand?
That's
now
right.
you got these kids being captains of industry, running businesses successfully, because they had the wherewithal to say, I ain't afraid to ask for the money. It don't make me a sucker. It don't make me a loser. I ain't no sellout, but I'm going to go in there to that bank with this 800 credit score and tell them that I got these 3 businesses that's supporting and sponsoring me, because I learned as a kid how to stand out there with that daggone basket and that bucket and that sign wearing my jersey saying, I play for this team, get me to Florida. You understand? I'm going to tell you this story right quick. I had a team called the Maryland Mystics.
You couldn't be out doing no crime because you was on a bucket.
There you go. I had a team called the Maryland Mystics. We practiced at Eastern Branch Boys and Girls Club. Okay, all our age groups. All of our members were from Potomac Gardens projects, Burry Farms, all these places where the kids' parents had no money. And we were the best in the region, and we needed to go to Florida to the championship. And it cost $1,700 per kid. I couldn't take them anywhere. I took them to the projects. I took them to the corner of Benny Road and East Capitol Street at the shrimp boat. And I set up a squad on East Corner, and I said, when them people that live in Maryland that got all that money, when you see a Maryland tag, you run up to that window and knock on that window and say, we trying to go to Florida instead of breaking into your house. Give us some money. And I'm gonna tell you, we got
I'm sorry.
in 7 days we raised $10,000.
So I gotta let the crowd go. Let me do my I gotta let you guys know what Nate is talking about to bring this thing home. See, he was coaching her. She coached the guys on the. This is what we need. Yeah. We need to pass the thing on.
That's right.
Without a doubt.
We need to pass it on. Nate just gave you a how-to.
Yep, you sure did.
So we glance over it. That's why I said let me quarterback a little bit. Because we won't want to glance over that. That's like sticking the landing. I don't care how good your performance is on the bars. If you don't stick the landing right,
you lose.
Right? So that's sticking the landing. Mm-hmm. So we need to do that, you guys. We need to do that.
And one thing we really need to pay attention to, right, is our youth. Yeah. They are today and the future. Mm-hmm. Okay? Right. And the one thing that we don't do is understand for ourselves and own up to the mistakes that we've made in our lives financially.
Yeah. That's right.
And then explain to our children why we're in such a desolate state financially.
Right.
I got to say to my kids, look, I made some mistakes. And here they are, laying them out on the table. Don't you do that.
That's right.
Make a choice. I made this decision here because of these things. And then give them the attitude, the fortitude, and the knowledge to go ahead and make those same types of decisions that are going to be faced in their lives financially. And when they get to a point where, like the young lady says, they're competing against the foreigners, they're competing against other races for money, okay? They are on an even playing field because they position themselves to be so. We got to stop looking out for handouts and start taking care of our own. If I made some financial mistakes, I need to teach my children how not to make those mistakes. Because, see, it's not about, the problem ain't, my fears ain't about what's in the future, right? What's going to possibly happen to me. My fear is about doing it again. I don't want those failures again. And I don't want that for my children or any child. So when they play sports, we suck up all that negative possibility and energy out there in the world that we can't control. The cat calling the females through the neighborhood, the guys selling dope, shooting dice, whatever they doing. If I got you inside of a building or on a court outside, if I got you in a collective group and we traveling from neighborhood to neighborhood, city to city, camaraderie, shit, we got to depend on each other. We all in the boat together. Now, I don't have to worry about that community 20 years from now when they all become adults. Because they know how to do it. They know what a village is like because they've been in one all their lives.
I walk down the street and people still ask me, how your dad? What's up with Coach Nate? Like, he's good.
I mean, it's really that simple.
Very much so.
It's really that simple. I am responsible for every human being that not only I touch, that I see. Every human being I see. The reason why I see him because my creator put him in my vision. But that don't mean they share my vision.
And we're going to bring in the distinguished Rodney Grimes.
Come on, Grimes. Get in, baby. Rodney Grimes. All right, before you start, Rodney, let's go ahead and see if anybody on the phone got any comments they want to throw out there. Janaemusic or our good family over there at Competitive Edge. Anybody want to throw something in before Mr. Grimes gets started?
Come on, man.
We got to figure out how to turn it around and capture those dollars and bring it back to our community and control them. Yeah. That's why we are as nonprofits and people like all of us on the call and in the studio get together to make it work.
That's right.
Educate folks to do what's right.
That's right.
That's right. Zero from zero is zero.
All day.
The emotional intelligence engine
right. We with you, baby.
See, hey, look, Mr. Leonard. See, I believe what you said, man. I'm an action man. You know, I deal with a lot of different people, man, other than just man in the mirror. And man, I'm gonna get to you straight with no chaser, man.
Yeah, my boy.
People, they're procrastinators, and their integrity is not there. Their integrity is not there.
They talk it.
Yeah, you talk good. I got some people, man, we supposed to do things, and I call them back, they won't even answer the phone.
Yeah.
You know, and they men.
Yeah.
See, I came up, you know, I told you about that woman we get ready to lay to rest, Shirley Jones. She was thorough. She said, if a man ain't got his word, he's That's how she told me. I'm her first child. She said, if you ain't got your word, Slim, you ain't nothing.
The only thing you can keep and give away at the same time is your word.
Yeah. If you ain't got your word,
y'all gotta let me get in.
Go get in there.
I couldn't sit over there. It was over there eating me up. But I was listening to everybody speaking about something. And I'm gonna tell you something. When it all comes down to it, that each one of us in this room and every adult is responsible for what's going on right now.
Oh, that's right.
We have to go back to the table. I saw something a few days ago that really let me know where we need to start. It's a parent, a mother and father, to have their son every morning before he goes to school sit down with a cup of tea and a book and read. And he's about 5 or 6 years old. And every morning before he go to school, he says to himself that I am somebody, that I am worthy. Affirmation. And he goes and he is one powerful. You saw that?
Yeah.
Now, let me speak about something. Even Nate, you know, I was sitting here and I heard your daughter speak. And your daughter said while you was on the court, you became coach. And when she got out of hand, you became father. You got to understand how to do both and keep them in order so that they understand how to move forward. For every woman and man, we are responsible for every other child.
That's right.
For us to walk by and act like it doesn't matter. I did a networking event a few days ago. And let me tell you something. The networking event wasn't really about just us being grown-ups in the room. It was about us understanding what we have to start doing again. We got to get back to the networking in our houses. We got to get these kids to understand. The reason why them boys walk around with their pants down, pulled down below their butt, because us men allowed them to do it.
That's right.
When we get to the point we talked about today, passed the laws and telling us that we can't discipline our children, I'm going to tell you a little short story and then I'll go back out, get out the way. One time, my daughter, she was in high school and she started skipping school. And she brought her grades in and they was all F's. And now my daughter went from a straight A child to F's. So when she came in and I found out she skipped school, I had never whooped her before. And she had to be close to 15 years old. I said, but today you gonna get a whooping. I said, I promise you that. She said, what? I said, watch when we get home. I took her home and I said, you go up and put on some shorts. Because I want you to understand. I ain't gonna try to kill you, but I'm gonna make you understand. I whooped her butt for the first time in her life. She went to school and the counselor and them saw the little webs on her, right? Sent the lady to my house. And I want parents to understand something. Be prepared for them when they come. When the white woman knocked on my door and I saw her and she said, I'm with Child Protection Agency, I said, okay, what do you want? She said, we understand that you whooped your child. I said, excuse me? She went and told you that? Come on in. She came in, sat down, my daughter walked in. I said, go upstairs and pack your clothes. You going with this lady right here. The lady looked at me and said, Mr. Grimes, what are you talking about? I said, because you're coming in here trying to tell me about my child. I whooped her because she went from A's to F. I found out that the other day she was in a crack house. Before I let her destroy her life, I will whoop that. We bring her here, I'll take her out. So we got two ways to do this. And I looked at my daughter and I said, now, you got a choice. You can leave with her or you can go upstairs and get in that room and handle your business. What is the decision you going to make? And she said, I'm going upstairs.
That's right.
That's right.
And that white woman looked at me and I had tears coming down and I told her, I said, before I'll allow you to disrupt my family, I'll kill her. And then she looked at me like, what? I said, that's right. You don't understand what we've been through. Our responsibility is for us to save our kids.
Yeah.
For every father that's not, even if you don't have a child, it's for every father, you are a father. For every mother, you are a mother. To every other child.
Yes.
And I'll share one more thing. I had it where I was doing a program and I had all these kids and everybody wanted to know why all the kids was coming to my house. I had sometimes 10 or 15 kids sleeping at my house at one time. Most of the time when I walk up to them and I ask them this, did anybody tell you they love you today? A lot of them didn't hear it.
Yeah.
And they look at me. So what I started doing when I asked them that, I said, did anybody tell you they love you today? And they'd say, no, Pops. I say, but I do. So as the days went on, where they start coming up to me and they start coming to my house, they say, Pops. I said, what? They say, anybody tell you they love you today?
Look at that.
Yeah.
I say, why? They say, because I do.
That's right.
And we started something.
Yeah.
So my point to saying that is
consistent.
It's consistent.
That's the key.
But now, you know what happened?
Yeah, you just showed up. You ain't have
This
to give 'em
young
a dime.
lady was trained and skilled by someone. And then we just had that here on this program that your
That's how it
daughter
works.
said she
No, not her.
no, the other guy.
His daughter.
Yeah. That you
Help
helped his child. Now can you imagine if
That's
all
how it
of
works.
us get back to stop being selfish and get back to the real thing.
Here's the thing. We drunk that Kool-Aid, right? So the Kool-Aid said, this is in the Kool-Aid, right? The Kool-Aid said, I'm going to do to y'all what works. Okay? So what works is, I can take a whole tribe of Africans, take them on a tough journey, drop them off in the land, and split them up. Make them individuals.
You don't know what they
Ain't no family, ain't no bond, ain't no village.
Come on.
Now I can control each one of them. All I need is one man with a whip, and I got 100 of y'all, and I got you covered. So this is the Kool-Aid we drank. We evolved out of that. We got this nipple effect called the civil rights, where it wasn't really a law, it's a bill. They gave us a titty, like a crying baby. Suck on this for a minute. A pacifier. You ain't gonna get full, but you like sucking on it, and you gonna depend on it.
Yeah.
So then they said, we gonna split your family up again.
Yeah,
But we gonna do it this way.
We'll put you in jail.
We're going to not allow you to raise those kids
Come on.
in a family environment.
Come on.
We're going to put you in a situation where your kids going to know
They split
that
up
it's
arguments
more
with their
valuable in rural state that I got somebody outside of my house that's more powerful than the people in my house.
Yeah.
So what that in turn does, it gives us this individual quality. Now we grow up as adults and go, here's the after effect.
You
It
get
ain't that
yours.
they running around
You
crazy.
I got mine, you get yours.
That one, and then don't talk to my kid.
Oh,
That's my kid.
Nate.
Village destroyed.
Nate, hey Nate.
Community gone.
Nate, let me tell you
Right.
something. I wasn't gonna share it. I got spit on the other day at the subway. By a little boy, bro. Maybe my grandson size, right? So there was a teenage girl right there with him. There was 3 little boys and her. And he when he spit on me, I was turned this way, spit on the back of, and when I turned around, he acted like he was spitting this way. Right? I said, this thing ain't spit on me, right? So I tell the girl, I say, he spit on me. The little girl said, no, he didn't. So she probably seen him spit on. But she's sitting right there looking, teenage girl, right? So I said, look, baby. I said, I don't got no reason to lie to you. The boy spit on me, right? And then she said, did you spit on him? So he ain't say nothing for a minute. And then she coaxed him into it. So then she said, cuss me out, right? So I said, well, I'm going to wait till your mom get here. Then or your dad, whoever, and I'm going to tell them. So my wife was pulling up, and the car pulled up in front. It was their parent. It was a lady, right? So I said, hey, ma'am, the little boy or whatever he is to you, he spit on me, right? And then this girl right here cussed me out. She come to the car cuss. She still cussing me out. Getting in the car. She said, just get in the car, just get in the car. And then the little girl said, he badgered us the whole time. And then she went from me telling her to spit on him, he badgered you? I said, wait a minute. I said, man, I'm a professional man, you know what I'm saying? I said, I'm not slow or anything. I would not say a kid spit on me if he didn't do it.
Right.
So, you know, she said, the girl still back there cussing. And she said, sorry, sir. I take it, but you said it in a condescending type of way.
Yeah, like getting away from the situation.
Yeah.
And once they drive down the street,
Right.
they forget about it.
So well, saying that on this show, if you that mama and you looking at this, you gotta do something because you're gonna be wondering why that your kid's gonna get shot or killed or in jail. It's because you ain't the parent. Ain't no kid gonna spit on any grown up. Ain't no kid of mine spit on any grown up.
They would.
They not gonna have no teeth.
Right.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna give you the same story,
Here-
right?
here-
Let me give him this story real quick, Darius, because I said before I didn't come from this calm person you see today, right?
Yeah. To
So
me,
I
neither,
came
you
from.
know
I
what's
know.
going-
I know. I
So
come
for
from
me
that
not
people.
to do nothing,
While I was living in that lifestyle, you know, I'm out there slinging, banging the whole nine.
spit on it.
I had a little joker spit on me, right? He's saying, you get the meth out of my, that boom, spit on me, because I told him to move out my little area, right? And I knew what apartment he lived in. So I said, come here, you little, and I grabbed him by the back of his jacket and lifted him up off the air. Now, I might have been wrong or whatever, but I carried him to that door, and I hit that door with some authority like the police. And when his father came, I threw him at his father, and I said, he spit on me, and if you don't do nothing about it, I'm going to split your head. Because that's where the spit came from. Not out of his mouth,
Right.
but out of yours.
Right.
He looked at that boy. He said, I got him, Slim. And all I heard was a belt on the way down the steps. What I'm saying is, we don't need to force you to be responsible. If you don't want to be responsible for your kid, there's places that will take their kid from you.
That's right.
Okay?
Oh, people
Department of
don't
Youth
but
Services, the
here-
jail, or the graveyard.
Here's the thing that, and I apologize. I gotta keep my word and leave because I sound to be.
It's all good.
It's
We
all
almost
over.
done.
I know, but I'm happy.
You got, because you got some people over at the mall. You got to stop.
Look at.
But here's the thing. I want us to. This is my parting words. Sports is great.
Yeah.
It does so much for us.
Yes.
We have to take control of the priorities in our community.
Yes.
Our priorities are misconstrued.
Mm-hmm.
We in love with football teams that are destroying brains. Just keep it 100. They're not even paying them the money that they're supposed to be paid.
Boy,
And then the NFL on top of that admitted to race baiting, which says that black brains are smaller than white brains. So they're not even giving the 75% of the NFL's players are black the appropriate amount of money, and they holding up their cases, so they way behind. And I know people who have not. My brother on the phone, he gets a witness, his partner, not getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
Our priorities are misconstrued, and part of that is because we are so tied to television and music, and that's why, brother, I'm gonna support you. I'm gonna do everything I can to push your station, this show, because we need positive media. Because we listen to music and watch television shows that teach us to destroy our families. Empire, Power 5.0, whatever it is, P-Valley, you know, all these things, mother beating it, the daughter beat her mother up in the middle of the street, the father got shot in Power, they killing each other, they disrespected their mother, all of that. Do we need to see that every day?
Right.
Do we need another one of them
Then
shows?
that
Right.
desensitizes you too.
The music that we listening to is the same music in the car that's coming home when the baby is born, and the same music that they listen to at the funeral at the repast.
Come on.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
The same music. Do we really need that? Is that really keeping it real, or is it keeping us dead? And we keep on, we can't do nothing different. They don't play music unless you let it be played on the radio. If you call and say, I don't want to hear that no more, they gonna shut it down. How you think the dude got off Fox? The women who said, we drive Mercedes, if you don't get Bill O'Reilly off the air, we're not watching y'all no more, and we're not buying another Mercedes. Guess what? The number one broadcaster in all of television got snatched and lost his job because they said they wasn't putting no more money on the table for Mercedes. We had the power. We just don't act like we had it, and we got misconstrued because we feel like we gotta go along with the Bobo. We got, if you really want to do something different, you gotta change. You gotta do something different. You can't keep doing the same thing, giving out money. It's just entertainment. It's a program.
That's what it's
And
called.
we're programmed.
That's
But
right.
let me say this, and we the people, and we talk about this, but we created the power, but we don't use it. We created the situations, but we don't put it in action.
Because of greed.
But that's by design.
It's by design.
By design. So you was talking about earlier. We talking about even back. We got to go back to the plantations and things. How did they do this? They separate you, and then what they do, they get your strongest one, the biggest,
Break 'em down.
and what they do, they put them in front of you, and they whoop them, and make them
Fear.
bow down in front of all of them. Now what happens is when they leave, he's now been broken, so he can't go and really be the biggest one among y'all because he was humiliated among them by somebody that couldn't even handle him one-on-one.
And then you talking about programming, and I want to say this because it was in my spirit. This show is out called The Chosen. I am an advocate of watching that show. There's so many signs and symbols for something positive in that show, and it's not a religious show like people want to think it be. And it was made by Caucasian. But this show is almost even politically correct, and it's spiritually in nature. And I think that everybody should watch.
So
While you putting plugs for shows, I'm gonna plug these two.
Go ahead.
Two networks. Aspire, the shows on Aspire.
Okay.
Funny, sexy, all that, but they end up with a good ending.
Okay.
We need good endings.
Yes.
That's right.
We got enough bad stuff.
That's
We
what
got
this.
good
That's
ones.
what this.
You said
Wait.
too. We need
So-
that. Aspire. The other one is Scholar Athlete Sports Network.
Okay.
Right, my
Look
brother.
right there and tell the
Streets.
people. Tell the people.
Streets. Scholar Athlete Sports Network.tv. SASN.tv. We're going to be the ESPN for amateur sports. You heard what he just said about the numbers? Right? That's what we need.
That's right.
Right.
So I'm with you. I love
So
you.
now, thank you, Mr. Dariuos Stanton, for being
Just
here,
call me
man.
Mr.
Love you, baby.
Hey,
Always
Mr.
peace
Stan,
and
I can
love.
tell you right now, we
And let me
gonna
just
get
say
you
something
on
real
that
quick
show,
for
too.
Darius get out of here. Because I don't want him to leave, and I don't want the audience to think that anything he did was original. He got it from his mama.
So that
Let me
goes
just put that out there, because he didn't. He got it from his mom. Can I get that?
My grandfather, my
Yeah,
brother,
yeah,
my
yeah,
all that.
Oh,
He
yeah.
had,
Oh,
he
yeah.
had the village.
All them great-
He had the
I got
village.
village.
I'm talking about the great village.
Yeah, I got
and I
And a great
implore
legacy already.
everybody to understand that we started talking about the importance of sports to youth.
Yeah.
But the real essence of that is the importance of the time spent with youth.
That's right.
What do
I
you
gotta
do
keep your hand on that one.
Right.
with the time
That's right.
in a youth's life?
Right.
That's right.
Because look, real quick, the brother showed you. His daughter was 15 before he whooped her. Because I don't want y'all to walk away with just thinking that whipping is what saves children.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
just want to make that clear. However, 15 years is what did it.
Yeah,
That one whipping ain't do it.
ain't do it.
It was the shock of
She
the
made
toner
Thank
that
you.
did it.
Come on.
That helped it to bring her back around. But it was that
Wake up.
15 years that she knew that he was
That's
dead.
when she made that decision.
And
on.
what really
Yeah.
did was the pain of breaking him, that make him beat her, is really what did it.
Yeah.
The pain, yeah, but it was that I
That's deep.
broke my father. Oh my
He
God.
would
I'm
never
glad you
did
said
that.
that.
I really did.
That
Let me
was
tell
my
you this.
heart.
That was
I
your
just
heart.
recently heard this, and it's so true.
Much respect.
Appreciate you, man.
Now,
Yes, sir.
when it comes to raising a child, right?
Appreciate you, man.
Man, I'm gonna get
The
you
most
some
important
information.
thing you could do is love a child so much and so dear that disappointing you will hurt them worse than any physical thing you can
That's
do.
what
to
he's
them.
talking about.
So when you love a child properly, every moment,
Excuse me, Nate. Hey, sir. Come back over here.
Oh,
Once you came in, they know I
Here.
was.
Yeah.
Ain't no
in and outs.
no, I was going
The point that I'm making is, they say if you love a child, specifically a man child,
Yeah.
don't beat him.
We gotta stop that.
Yeah.
Don't harsh him.
But-
love him. To where love and lack of love, or the absence of love,
yeah.
is the worst punishment they can ever
That's
get.
right. That's right.
That's my last
Okay,
word
okay.
for Man in the Mirror.
I'm gonna take this opportunity just to really also say this. Man in the Mirror, People to People, are two programs among many that are coming to you for a purpose. This is not entertainment. This is education. This is we supporting you. We're giving you knowledge. We bring in individuals who lived it. These gentlemen here, these guys have not always been givers. They used to be takers.
For sure.
And now they are doing the reverse. If y'all want to see a change, support the programs. Let people see these. It may not, we not CBS, we not ABC, but we are making a change and we're trying. Man in the Mirror really should be coming on 4-5 times a week. They come on once a month. How many of you are talking about it and going back? Go back and look at some of the programs and see some of the people that's been brought in here and put on the panels. It's going to blow your mind.
Mm-hmm.
We got lawyers, doctors. We got singers, killers.
Sports.
I'm talking about, we got all kind of
At the highest
individuals
levels.
at the highest levels coming on the program that's telling you.
We got
nothing.
educators, ball players,
Players,
entertainers, videographers, phone. God, we got people on the phone. We love y'all on the phone. We ain't forgot you.
This whole place is all over.
We
Guess
love
what?
y'all, that Man in the
It's
Mirror.
it's the show that
The
matters.
show that matters. I want to take this time out to thank Janaemusic. Thank the people from Competitive Edge for calling in. We
Thank
love
the
you.
ones in
Thank everyone in the studio, Miss
Yeah.
Tiesha Womack, Miss Rhiannon Daniels. We want to thank our esteemed panel, Boo Jones, Amy Case, Nate Jenkins, Rodney Grimes, and Miss V Grimes behind the camera back there, our production. I want to get all that in and say we'll be back next month.
Oh, we got a bomb burner for next
We
month.
got every month.
Very much a
We
bomb burner.
just gonna get hotter and hotter and hotter,
That's
and
what
all
we
that
do,
too.
because it's a
Tune
show
in.
that matters.
We love you.